What's the one thing that you could focus on today that would make everything else in your business and your life easier or unnecessary? Hold that question in your mind as we move through today's episode. Hey, and welcome back to the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast. I'm Stephanie. I'm your host and your mentor. And as a life coach for entrepreneurs, I use this podcast to help solopreneurs who are stuck in between burnout and breakthrough. I'm so familiar with that struggle, and I want to help you because it usually centers around three things: a lack of clarity, a lack of time, and or a lack of money. But here we're having real conversations so we can learn how to mind our business holistically so we can live aligned, free, and funded in both life and business. Today, we're going to talk about focus, the real currency of success. Because everything that you're lacking right now, whether that be clarity, time, or money, can be traced back to where your attention is going. You may lack clarity because your focus is scattered across too many ideas. You may lack time because you're focused on what's urgent instead of what's important. And then you may lack money because your attention isn't on the key activities that actually create your income. Today, you'll learn how to break down the cycle of busy work, reclaim your focus, and redesign your days around what truly matters: freedom, purpose, and results. So let's talk about Monique. If this is your first time tuning into the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast, Monique is my avatar. She's the reason why I created my business. She's the reason why I created the community, started this podcast, and create the programs that I do. She is that busy solopreneur that I am working to help her get aligned, free, and funded. So let's discuss Monique. She wakes up motivated. She grabs her coffee and tells herself, today I am going to be productive. By 9 a.m., she's checking emails, answering DMs, posting in her Facebook group, and fixing the typos that she found on her website, and even redesigned her logo. Again, it feels productive, but nothing she's doing is actually moving her business forward. By the end of the day, her to-do list is even longer than when she started. Her shoulders are tight, her mind is tired, her heart is heavy with that familiar thought: I have been working all day, but have I actually accomplished anything? I know that feeling because I was her. When I finally realized that being busy wasn't the same as being effective, that was the moment my business and my peace of mind started to shift. Focus isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters the most. My Solopreneur Time Design system helps you stop managing time, which can't be managed, and start mastering focus because you manage yourself during the time that you have allotted. So I learned these systems just when I start putting things together. It's always from a plethora. It's always from a large number of different places. The sources come from everywhere. And I was on my computer and an ad came on a YouTube channel that I was watching about focus blocks. And I listened to it and I said, dang, that makes a lot of sense. I said, yeah, maybe I should do something like that. I should try that myself. So I sketched out based on what I heard in the ad, something that I think that I could do for myself. And then shortly after that, my mentor, Vic, introduced all of us, our group, to a book. During one of our trainings, he talked about the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. When Vic introduced the book to our group, I thought he was trying to help some of us that were in that group and tend to be a little scattered, trying to do a little bit of everything, right? I was not one of those at that moment, but I used to be. Okay, let's just keep it real. I used to be. But when I read the book, It wasn't about focus on one business idea. It was about focus in general, and it was about time management, right? And really what to do with yourself during the time that you have allotted, because you will learn over the years, keep listening to personal development and all that, they'll tell you time can't be managed. Because again, but that book, it confirmed everything I had learned through my own experiences. I kind of put all the pieces together. And he asked one powerful question. Wait, this is going to sound familiar. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? That's the magic question that surrounds the concept of that book. And that one question changed how I worked and how I lived. Now, I can never tell you what your one thing should be because it's different for everyone. Your one thing is that priority that when you give it your full attention, it shifts everything else in your world. The key is choosing the right thing, not just the convenient thing, because the right focus multiplies your effectiveness across every area of life. Now, let's look at how the one thing shows up in the 6 MYB life categories. Okay, personal growth. Your one thing might be building a consistent morning routine that nourishes your mind and your spirit and your health, covering all your bases. In business, it might be creating and refining one signature offer that becomes the foundation of your income. And then in your finances, it might be mastering your money management system so you always know where every dollar goes. And then in your relationships, it could be improving your communication, listening more, reacting less to strengthen the bonds and sustain you and your partner. In contribution, it might be showing up weekly to serve others, using your gifts to make impact beyond yourself. And then quality of life. Your one thing could be as simple as carving out daily quiet time to think, meditate, rest, reset, take a walk, spend some quality time with your children, your loved ones, do a puzzle, draw a picture, because your peace is productivity too. Each of these areas connects to one another. When you get clear in one thing in each category, even if it's a small thing, it creates balance and momentum across all of them. Let's break that down further through the 3 pillars of freedom and growth. First one is clarity through focus. When you stop trying to master everything, you finally create space for what you're meant to master. Think about it. If you're a virtual assistant trying to offer, 10 different services, people won't really know what to hire you for. But if you focus on one thing, like building systems for coaches, you could become the go-to expert. That's clarity. And then time through focus. When you focus on priorities, you stop living in reaction mode. Instead of letting notifications or messages control your day, you block focus time for your top priorities. For example, spend 90 minutes creating client proposals instead of bouncing between social media posts, YouTube videos, or even Canva graphics. And then money through focus. When your best energy goes into activities that generate income, your business grows. That could mean recording a course or even a training so that you can hire your daughter and duplicate yourself. That's always more money. Or following up with leads. Focus creates momentum that money follows. Okay, get your pen and your paper, your notebook, your pad, your computer, whatever you want to take notes on. Here is how we're going to bring it all together. Okay, so I want you to think of your week as a rhythm and not a routine. So your Solopreneur Time Design is built around 5 core blocks, bringing you structure, freedom, and flow to your day. So the very first block, block number 1, would be your focus blocks. That's the one thing. That's the deep work for your most important activities. It is your needle mover that will directly build your business or your income. So what's that example? Like recording a podcast episode or writing a business proposal, coaching a client, building your sales page, anything along those lines. See, you need to protect these blocks like your most valuable client meeting, because you wouldn't cancel on a paying client simply because you weren't in the mood. So don't cancel on yourself. Then the second type of focus block is number 2, which we call maintenance blocks. These are the tasks that will keep your business operating smoothly. They're essential, but not major growth drivers, such as invoicing, email checking, content scheduling, updating your client process, experience, or systems. Batch these types of tasks so they don't swallow your prime energy. Okay, pay attention. We're going into number 3, the third type of focus block, and that's growth and learning blocks. These are activities that stretch your capacity. It's your future income, right? The time that doesn't pay off instantly, but sets you up for expansion, like taking a course, mastering your craft, reading, attending workshops. And the fourth type of block is your freedom blocks. This is your rest, recharge, reset. You are your biggest business asset. When you're drained, your creativity and your focus collapse. So these would be like prayer, meditation, time with your loved ones, exercise, hobbies, quiet reflection. Rest and freedom isn't a reward. It's a part of the design. And our block number 5 is the flex blocks. These are your buffer zones for life's curveballs, the space that keeps your week humane when surprises pop up, like a child getting sick, a delivery shift that ran longer, a client that needs an extra hour, or a creative idea that needs room to breathe. When you use these blocks intentionally, your day stops feeling chaotic and starts feeling purposeful. Start with one 90-minute focus block today and ask yourself before you start that block, what's the one thing that if I complete it, it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? So we're going to talk about busy work versus needle movers. Let's make this plain. Busy work will rob you of your destiny if you let it. Busy work feels good, but changes nothing. You check off boxes, but your activity is not advancing you. For example, redesigning your website layout. Again, rewriting your bio for the 4th time, spending 3 hours researching ideas. Needle movers, on the other hand, are your money and mission activities. They directly impact your growth, visibility, or revenue, like sending 5 follow-up emails to warm leads, recording a new podcast episode, creating an irresistible lead magnet that speaks directly to your avatar, like Monique. And add this question to your repertoire. Is this busy work or a needle mover? And if you're not sure, then ask this. If I didn't do this task today, would it really matter next week? Focus is freedom. When you learn to manage your energy instead of your hours, you gain time back for life and your loved ones. You don't have to work harder. You have to work truer to your vision. You have to work truer to what matters most. If you want to build a business that lets you live, this is how you do it. One focus block at a time. One decision at a time. One habit at a time. This isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm. Consistency turns chaos into peace, and focus turns effort into results. Now, as we wrap up and circle back to that question from the beginning, what's the one thing you could focus on today that would make everything else in your business and your life easier or unnecessary? Did you get that answer? Because when you choose one thing to stay faithful to, that's where alignment starts, freedom flows, and your business becomes funded on purpose. My mission is to help 1,000 solopreneurs become aligned, free, and funded. I want you to meet me at the retreat. Meet me on the beach, meet me at the ocean, meet me by the fruit bar, meditate with me in the mountains. Let's watch the sunrise. Let's take a run on the mountaintop. Let's get outside, live our lives, create memories, and change the narrative of what life looks like when you own your own business as a solopreneur. I want you to be at every event for your children, your grandchildren, be a true support of your husband, your wife, care for your elderly parents, whatever it is that you set out to do for the rest of your life. I want it to be the best of your life. That is my mission. Allow me to start that mission, starting with you. Join us. If this episode resonated with you, don't just listen. I need you to take action. Join me in the free 30-day Mind Your Business Challenge, launching in October very soon. We dedicate an entire week to the time design and focus. I'll walk you through on how to reclaim your time, redesign your workflow, and finally experience what feels like working less and accomplishing more. Inside this challenge, you'll get the tools, you'll get the structure, and the accountability so that you can stop running in circles and start seeing results. Click the link in the show notes or the description and visit community.myblifestyle.com to get on the waiting list so that you will be the first to know when it drops. Now let's talk about it. In the comments, what's your biggest distraction right now? What are you spinning your wheels on? Comment below, or you can even tag me on social media. Those links are below as well. And tell me the one thing you're committed to focus on this week. And then I want you to come back next week and tell me how well it worked. So when we started, we was running out of time. But you don't need more time. You need more focus. Break busy. Get clear so that you can get free. You made a powerful decision to push play today, and I thank you for listening and allowing me to accompany you on this life-changing journey. I want you to stay tuned. Come back next week. Stay clear. Stay focused. And most importantly, I want you to mind your business.